Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. Today is Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, and I'm Gianni Di Poce, your host. We started off today in the markets with a lower than expected inflation report. Across multiple timeframes, we saw inflation come in cooler than what was expected, which is another piece of the data puzzle that the Fed is looking for to justify any further rate cuts. Right now, the market's expectation for the next rate cut is in September. But let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the market right now. We see the Dow Jones climbing up near the highs of the day. You know, it is a rather choppy market right now. I actually just had a little bit of selling come into the picture here. So we're chopping around. You know, there are some cyclical factors at hand that could cap some upside in the near term. We are entering one of the more potent periods of geocosmic activity this year, starting with the Jupiter-Saturn square. That's the third and final passage. We're going to be out of the central time band for the signature on June 15th. That's going to occur the same day that Mars will square Uranus. And then it will be wrapped up with the Jupiter-Neptune square on the 18th of June. And that's going to potentially lead to some reversals in this market. There is a bit of exuberance creeping back into the tape here. So, you know, perhaps a little top heavy here, but that being said, the trend is still very much up. We're seeing leadership still come through from the semiconductor and the tech sector. Semiconductors are actually now down on the day, the first time in several sessions where we have not seen chips lead to the upside. But the NASDAQ is now in negative territory as well, coming within spitting distance of its all-time high. So we have to keep an eye on this, especially with Mars set to square Uranus. You know, Uranus being highlighted rules technology, can rule breaks of support and resistance. There was also a report today that there is an agreement in principle on some trade matters between the U.S. and China. We'll see if that actually sticks. I will say that we have Venus in Taurus now and also Jupiter in Cancer. Venus ingressed into Taurus last Friday, Jupiter ingressed into Cancer on Monday, and we even made it through a Venus square Pluto signature without any major reversals thus far. So perhaps this trade deal does stick. Maybe most of it sticks. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And of course, you know, we are seeing some of the effects of Saturn conjunct Neptune right now with some of the protests going on across the United States. So, you know, perhaps that could coincide with some of the reversals that we're looking for in the markets over the next week or so. Take a look at bonds. We are seeing a rally again today. Going to be talking about this in greater depth over this weekend. On Sunday, we're hosting our MMA Midyear Webinar at 12 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to be talking about interest rates, stocks, all sorts of markets. But this is a big one because a lot of what's going to happen in the stock market has to do with the bond market. And we have been looking for some upside here, and perhaps it will continue. Again, the fact that it made it through Venus square Pluto without a significant reversal or breakdown lower is a good sign. Now, even though the inflation report came in weaker than expected today, it is a bit of irony that crude oil is surging. So perhaps there will be a flip on that a few months from now, especially if this rally continues. Crude oil is known to be the greatest driver of inflation expectations. And with the Jupiter square Saturn signature coming up, along with Jupiter square Neptune, we could be looking at a big breakout here, if not probably in the process of topping out here. So we need to watch that closely because USO, the crude oil ETF, is seeing a solid rally, and that in time could actually flip the current inflation trajectory on its head, and we could see inflation return if this continues higher. Gold and silver will also be a main topic of discussion on this Sunday's webinar. There's some very important cycles that we're watching in this market, although we will consider the fact that silver has broken out and has started to outperform against gold. Not long around the time, or not long before Jupiter ingressed into Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon rules silver, and Jupiter in Cancer, that is a general tailwind for silver prices and precious metal prices especially. That being said, we're going to be talking about some of the cyclical factors at hand in this market too. The dollar also seeing some more selling today. The euro's at the session high. The dollar yen is also at the session low. So it would appear that the rally that we're seeing in bonds today is more along the lines of lower credit risk. And what that means is that if the dollar is weaker, it's going to be easier for the government to service its debt. With inflation not being a problem, the cause of higher interest rates, especially in the long end of the bond market year to date, has been one of default risk. Well, if the dollar is weakening, the odds of a default actually drop. And that probably has a lot to do with Venus coming out of that square with Pluto on Monday. So we'll continue to monitor that situation. Of course, on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin now at the session lows, still hanging out near its all-time highs. Venus is in Taurus, so we're looking for a 20% or greater move. Venus ingressed into Taurus last Friday, so we only got about an 8% move in the cash market. If you take a look at Ethereum, this one has started to accelerate and outperform against Bitcoin here. And this one looks very bullish. I wouldn't be surprised to see, Ethereum testing its highs from last year sooner than later. We know that when the cycles reset, it can actually go pretty parabolic to the upside. So that's what I have to cover with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, a reminder that on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, we will be hosting our MMA Midyear Webinar. I hope that you can join us. It's going to be anywhere from 3 to 4 hours long with Ray Merriman, myself, Vipka Held, Wyatt Fellows, Puyan, Zulfarganya, and Ulrich Aspergen, covering a variety of markets from stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities, and more. So you don't want to miss that to get our updated outlook on where these markets are going, both from a mundane and financial standpoint. The basic astrology, financial astrology course is still underway. We are 2 classes into the 6-week program. You can still join us. All classes are recorded, so you can find more details about that at www.mmacycles.com. And finally, the enrollment period for the Merriman Market Timing Academy, the early bird discount is only open for another 2 weeks. So up until July 1st, you can save a pretty good amount of money if you join us early. So don't hesitate, reach out, get your name on the list, because it's starting to fill up actually faster than I expected, which is a great thing. We are capping participants at 50 for MMTA 4. So that's all I have for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. See you this Sunday. Take care.